And welcome to Marv Garden's first radio podcast. I'm your host, Marv Gardens, reporter for duty, and today's discussion is going to be about just decisions and choices in general, nothing special. And what we're gonna talk about is basically the whole point of decision and the choice. Rather not its nature on the philosophical side, but just the form of a decision of a choice within itself. Rather, what makes something a decision and a choice? Like, most people argue that it's free will, and I'm like, that's a good start, but everybody has free will. I mean, nobody's going to take over you like a puppet or a video game or something like that, and just say you can't do this, you can't do that. They're going to naturally give you the choice to do what you want to do. And that's how it should be. That's how it's always supposed to be. Um, I guess the problem arises when the choices you want to make are influenced against, or when the choices you ought to make are not in your favor to make. Is that at that point not your choice anymore, or is difficulty just part of the choice? I mean, at what point does a choice stop being a choice is probably the main point, right? I don't know. When you think about, I guess, life in general, everything has a choice. I mean, you kind of made a choice the moment you came into existence. I mean, I don't feel like anybody's going to be in a position to not exercise a choice that's crucial, especially if that choice is important to the survival. Birth is probably the most potent of these examples. I mean, the point that you came out your mommy is proof that you've had a choice since the day you were born. I mean, I don't think there's any baby that opted to stay in their mother's womb. Just as a, I don't know, like a decision that was rationalized and acted upon. Which brings us to another point. Is is a process necessary in order to make a decision? I mean, instinct plays a key role in, you know, how you think and how you act and how you feel and all other stuff. But does that really count as a choice if you have, I guess, natural mechanisms to decide how you make those choices, when you make those choices, or why you make those choices? I guess the easiest example for this would be, I guess, male versus female choices, right? Males tend to act more on instinct. And welcome to Marv Garden's first radio podcast. I'm your host, Marv Gardens, reporter for duty, and today's discussion is going to be about just decisions and choices in general, nothing special. And what we're gonna talk about is basically the whole point of decision and the choice. Rather not its nature on the philosophical side, but just the form of a decision of a choice within itself. Rather, what makes something a decision and a choice? Like, most people argue that it's free will, and I'm like, that's a good start, but everybody has free will. I mean, nobody's going to take over you like like a puppet or a video game or something like that, and just say, you can't do this, you can't do that. They're going to naturally give you the choice to do what you want to do. And that's how it should be. That's how it's always supposed to be. I guess the problem arises when the choices you want to make are influenced against, or when the choices you ought to make are not in your favor to make. Is that at that point not your choice anymore, or is difficulty just part of the choice? I mean, at what point does a choice stop being a choice is probably the main point, right? I don't know. When you think about, I guess, life in general, everything has a choice. I mean, you kind of made a choice the moment you came into existence. I mean, I don't feel like anybody is going to be in a position to not exercise a choice that's crucial, especially if that choice is important to the survival. Birth is probably the most potent of these examples. I mean, the point that you came out your mommy is proof that you've had a choice since the day you were born. I mean, I don't think there's any baby that opted to stay in their mother's womb. Just as a, I don't know, like a decision that was rationalized and acted upon. Which brings us to another point. Is is a process necessary in order to make a decision? I mean, instinct plays a key role in, you know, how you think and how you act and how you feel and all other stuff. But does that really count as a choice if you have, I guess, natural mechanisms to decide how you make those choices, when you make those choices, or why you make those choices? I guess the easiest example for this would be, I guess, male versus female choices, right? Males tend to act more on instinct, while females tend to act more on logic. A logic that's probably more, I guess, uh, far-sighted, long-reaching than most males that ever cared to admit. But back to a more realistic perspective, from a male perspective, instinct does play a key role in most decisions, probably 99% of them. And why those instincts are there, I'll leave it for the scientists and the theologists and all those other guys. But from a common sense deduction process, I just say it's supposed to be there because you have movers and you have people that's meant to be moved. And as people that's meant to be movers, females are attempting to the easy decisions. I mean, as I guess people that's supposed to be the voice of reason anyway, it's easy for males to make reckless decisions and count on females to fix the situation. It's as funny as it sounds. I mean, it's probably not funny if you've been in that situation or are in that situation, but you know, don't get mad at females. There's always a method to madness, especially if it's male oriented. In other news, I guess that means that maybe everything or all decisions are logically processed. And if you get to the root cause of it, right? I mean, if instinct depends on a certain situation, if on, I guess you gotta break down instinct to get the logic. The idea of instinct is that the instinct part is acting on something that's expected to happen. Like, you know, a person that's fight or flight is expecting to fight or flight because they expect something they don't want to happen. And that's like, you can't really logic that, because the idea of instinct is that it's supposed to be pre-programmed logic. I mean, if you see a tree falling, you should move, right? You're not gonna think, that tree looks like its position is changing, and it may just land on my position in approximately 1, 2. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna move. You're gonna say, I guess I feel scared. That tree's gonna hurt me. Let me move. So I guess the easiest way to say it is that all decisions and all choices are logic oriented and logic based, even if thinking isn't necessarily uh, manifested in time. And what I'm trying to say is that even if I don't take time to make decisions, it doesn't make that decision any less valuable or viable. So I guess the proof in the pudding is then, is everything predestined? That's another question that people get around to. I mean, it's like, if everything I'm doing is for a purpose, is my whole life dictated by some unknown purpose that I'm not yet reaching or understanding? If that's the case, then is my life even worth anything? If everybody's life is dictated by a purpose, which is probably going to be common in its reach, or common in its goal, or at one point crossroads with the same people. So it's like, choices, decisions, or just life is pre-programmed like that. Is life a video game? Nah, life's not a video game. Don't take that seriously, people. um, I guess with no speculation needed, life is kind of like a video game, but should not be played as such, because one thing about a video game is that if you fail level 1, you can always restart and go back and put cheat codes in and ask people that already beat level 1 how to beat level 1 and yada yada yada. In real life, you shouldn't fuck up on level 1. If you do, it just makes all levels impossible. It's like falling backwards or something. Usually you expect floors, like you fall through a ceiling, you fall through a floor, you go through a floor into another ceiling, no, into another floor. This is like falling from the floor into a ceiling and trying to keep that momentum that way. And that's just crazy. So I'm like, huh. If life is just a pre-programmed video game, then what happens when I change the goal? With a purpose? What happens if I manifest the purpose without realizing the purpose? Which is within itself a form of logic. So attempting to override logic by not trying to use logic is still a form of logic. I guess the next form of non-thinking thinking is to take a different approach, basically. And how to beat logic is through non-planning. That's probably the simplest solution, right? But they say, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. And you know, I guess that works for some people, most likely not for everybody. Most people can't afford to just be like, I'll just let life tell me what to do. Because if you could, then there would be no life. It would just, I don't know, I guess we'd be like Avatar or some shit, man. I don't know. But, huh. even if you did create a successful approach of approaching life without approaching life, at some point you will have to approach life. Ideally, right? Can a person really live off of serendipity alone? I don't know. I don't want to know. Truth, I don't. That seems more coincidental or using a knowledge or a logic that even if you don't even if you don't bring attention to it, even if you don't bring attention to it, um, it's still there. I mean, it's like walking. It's like walking from one place to another. Even if you don't think about where you're walking or how you're getting there, you're still using the logic. You're still using a pre-plan, a predestined uh path. There we go. And that predestined path is what you're utilizing to get to your destination. Even if you change the path, it still follows the same logic that somebody who plans to get to to the point that you're trying to get to is trying to get to. So in other words, I guess in other words, you just can't avoid the logic argument. Then again, when you look at a simpler creature, let's say like a dog or a cat or something, they don't even talk. Well, to people, they don't talk to people, but they still operate with a logic and a reservation of choice and free will that you just can't ignore. I mean, even if you had nothing to do all day, every day, you would still have something to do all day, every day. And that simplest process would be living, keeping your eyes open. And if you do that, then your logic and your purpose is to keep your eyes open, even if you can't rationalize anything else to do. And with that simple point in mind, then, you know, I don't know. Is there any point in having a point then? Oh, man. So, the question is, what happened with the society stuff, man? Did we just, like, figure, I don't know. I can't say we, man. I don't feel like anybody, as much as people like groups, and as much as people like to be affiliated with cool stuff, I'm like, I don't think anybody likes to be thought of as a non-individual, which is ironic because we all make the same choices and decisions eventually. So it's like, is individualism eliminated by predictable choices and decisions? Is there even an individual anymore? To be honest, it's like, huh, is that part of growing up? Realizing that all the stars and glitter and all that stuff they painted for you as a child was irregardless to how you needed to adapt to real life. I mean, it's like, damn, you could have just said, you know, life sucks, deal with it. If you don't want to deal with it, you're doing us a favor anyway. But I guess I see your point. In order to promote a healthy and self functioning, self confident society, there we go. You gotta put just a wee bit of encouragement in it, or exaggeration, to be more honest with you. But I'm not really trying. It's not really time to throw shots. This is more of not investigation, but pondering on why does it take so much effort to realize you don't need to use effort? I don't know. Like, if I could figure out the creature or insect or animal with the smallest lifespan and ask that creature, why do you exist? I wonder what it would tell me. If it could tell me. Probably not. Mm. I guess on a basic level, its only purpose is to uh follow instincts, right? Thank God for instincts, right? If I was born dumb as the day I was born and I never had an opportunity to do anything else but be born, what would keep me going in life? That would be instincts. So the question is, anything removed from instincts, what is the point? It just paints society in vivid colors, to be honest. Like a very showy painting or something. I think it's funny how art and music became moved from very simple, very straight to the point to very frivolous, very, you know, just indicative of how life and society changed from a simpler mode to a much more adventurous, I guess. Not adventurous, probably artistic. It's expression. In an expression sense, life picked up a not a quicker pace. We're not moving anywhere fast. That's another discussion. Um, just life is a lot more colorful than it used to be honest. And I guess that's a choice too, right? But if a choice is dictated by a purpose, by a goal, what is the point? What is the choices? What choices and decisions is society making to this day that's moving things to a specific goal? Meaning, if if it's already been established that the simple purposes have already been fixed, the simple goals have already been achieved, then what are the hard goals, right? And who decides these hard goals? There we go again. It's funny how decisions and choices can take on new purposes. Excuse me, I'm got you in a little posh, man. Uh, Decisions and choices can take on new levels of divergence when you're talking about affecting large groups of people. And now the society thing is starting to make a little more sense. When you get a when your decisions and choices don't just affect you and those around you, I guess decisions do take on a very flourished design, right? Kind of like a well-built machine. I do believe that's probably was the purpose. The problem is, what happens when that machine becomes inefficient? When decisions and choices that you created to allow you to make the more decisions and choices don't lead to more decisions and choices. Oh man, it's funny. It's like a paradigm or something. If acting leads to more action, what happens when action can no longer lead to action? What leads to inaction? Wouldn't I make the whole point of action irrelevant? It's like, I guess labyrinth analogy. What would be the point of moving through a labyrinth if when you finally reach the end is a dead end? And I guess that's probably the scary side of the future, right? The idea that everything was for nothing. But then again, that's more of a cynic's point of view, right? The idea that if it hasn't already happened, it isn't going to happen versus something not happening is not proof that it can't happen. It also isn't proof that it won't happen. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. That was also a quote. I butchered it, but fuck it. Somebody know what I'm talking about. But I guess in order to really understand the decision and the choice you will have to make repetitiously until it's like playing a video. It's like when you play a video game over and over and over and over again. You get bored making the same choice and decisions. So what video game habits is going to tell you? Let me make a stupid choice. See what happens. Like when you abuse video game logic, and instead of following the pace they tell you to follow, you just be like, wait, this is a video game. I don't gotta do shit. Let me just sit here and see what happens. Some shit like that. Or you get real creative and you just. There we go again, going into another discussion. But back to choices. I guess that's what happened, right? People kept making the same choices and getting the same results, so they said, fuck it, we need to open up some new choices and decisions. And lo and behold, guy of the day, right? I mean, people making choices and decisions created the very thing that people depend on today, which is the internet. If it wasn't for the internet, and of course radio, excuse me, how you gonna do a radio podcast, and you're not giving props to the radio? But not not or this not or deciding to not do stuff was probably not an option, not a decision. The decision of indecision being not a decision was a decision within itself. So I guess the beginning of choices and decisions begins with the form, no, not the form, the very will to desire something, to do something. Which brings into another part. When does desire cater to decision and choices? I mean, as a kid, we all want stuff. You want a toy, you want your way, you want to do what you want, and yada, 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 yada. But, I mean, I guess that works. Like, in the simplest form. Like, that just proves that even if you weren't in a technological time, I guess what the history books call post-industrial era, you can't really say they didn't have anything to do or to want to do. I guess the only difference is having things done versus not done, which is within itself a proof of inaction. What happens when society does everything? I don't know. It's just that as a, I guess, a modern society, it's like in the agenda to have shit to do, right? Which is going to lead to inactivity anyway, because if you get the idea that, hey, if I go hard, full body at this, I gotta have shit to do stuff. I'm gonna end up not having shit to do anyway. But I'm like, that's why instincts will always be the driving engine of society. Even if society accomplishes all of the invisible things, which you would call scientific pursuits, at the end of the day, people will still get hungry. People will still get horny. And people will still be, you know, just, oh yeah, sick and all that other shit. Mm-mm-mm-mm. And not to harp on the bad stuff. That's just the fact of reality, man. You will always be in a revolving state of health. No matter what age you are, to be honest. And I guess that's the saving grace. What it means to be animal, have instincts you can always rely on when you can't rely on anything else. Which makes religion kind of funny. But it's funny though, because religion is going to be talked about tomorrow anyway, so I guess it's pretty good that I brought that up. But, I guess, hmm, instincts. Hmm. Is there any more I can say about instincts? Probably not, right? I mean, by definition, they're supposed to be simplistic in nature. If they weren't, they wouldn't be an instinct. They would be more of a method or scientific method. I don't know. A discipline. There we go, discipline. That's an excellent word to characterize thought, which is supposed to be pre-planned and repetitious. You got instincts, you have discipline. I guess discipline can at times too fall into that frivolous category. I mean, I get what would be a good example? I guess being courteous, right? Always being reminded to be courteous to those around you. Very annoying. Very counterproductive to the instincts in you to want what you want, when you want it, how you want it, if you want it. Which which is good. We're breaking out of this loop now. At what point does decision making become useful again? When you put yourself in a position where your decisions are contradicting. There we go. Contradicting with your instincts, which is how we arose with all of these laws and stuff. And I'm like, sheesh, man. We left caveman habits just to put ourselves back in caveman stupidity. But I see your point. In order to counterbalance against other people's decisions and choices have to be made to inhibit other people's decisions and choices, because the further the net value of these decisions and choices is going to lead to availability of decisions and choices for everybody. Yay! But that sucks. I think I probably speak for every male. The instant, the touchy, feely, what you like is it's a bad one. Definitely sucks to have to have what society calls self-control and yada yada yada. Decision to be indecision, to not make a decision because your decision will lead to more decisions, just not very good ones. So it's like shit, shit. What was the point of society opening up all these other decisions and choices? You just gonna take away the ones I want to do. But I see your point. There is nothing for free, and if it was, what would it be? What is a free choice versus a consequential choice? Is a free choice any more valuable than a consequential choice? Which is probably a good point. What makes more importantly, what makes an advantageous choice? Uh, hmm. If an advantageous choice is dictated by uh, other people's decisions and choices, then is it your choice at all at that point? Which moves things into the next phase in which you must, well, any person must contemplate at what point is having your choices restricted advantageous to you or disadvantageous to you, which will vary for most people. And I guess your what you call it on that is not perspective, but your your logical process on that is indicative of what decisions and choices you choose to make, right? In which case, the decision choice hierarchy is then determined, or rather, um, I guess more deeply implemented than most people will ever give it credit for, because just like going back to the original logic that decisions and choices that influence more than one person can lead to greater decisions and choices, so in turn can working in verse with that process and seeing the decisions and choices that affect large amounts of people will reflect back onto you as to how you would choose to make your decisions and choices. So, in other words, I guess the whole decision choice process depends on how many people's involved at that point, right? Which makes a lot of sense because if you're making decisions choices for yourself, it's easy to pop. Add another person, things get pretty difficult. Make that person the opposite gender, things get really difficult. Then just repeat that process over and over and over again. Every additional person who makes that decision and choices is going to affect how you make your decisions and choices, which becomes ever more so complicated as you try to assimilate your decisions and choices with theirs, well, their choices to yours, and vice versa. It just turns into a big clusterfuck. I don't know, but I guess the I guess the focus when you're making ever the more so varied in decisions, ever the more so varied decisions and choices to affect other people's decisions and choices depends on what goal you're reaching for, right? So the whole process of dealing with other people's decisions and choices becomes irrelevant when you can meet a common purpose or goal that reflects this. And I guess that makes things work because true. If you didn't have a purpose, why would I listen to you in the first place? And if you did have a purpose, why would I want it if it doesn't meet my purpose? So it's like, we back to this predestination problem. If everybody's predestined to want the same things, how do you break the predestination goal? Especially if your point of breaking the predestination goal is to break the predestination goal, which could lead to other people repositioning their predestination goals to other people to your predestination goal, especially if it fits their purpose. Then at this point, choices and decisions becomes more like a fad rather than, I don't know, something to be um considered seriously. But then again, I'm pretty sure everybody considers their choices and decisions to be important. So that fixes that, you know, brushing that aside and stuff. So the question then begins, if choices and decisions can all be not planned for, if all choices and decisions can all be led to the same purpose and goals, then is it right for someone to plan choices and decisions for you at that point? If they can eventually lead you to whatever goal you wanted to get anyway. Which, I guess depends on the nature and degree of your decisions and choices, probably, right? Simple choices and decisions are easy to satisfy. Complicated ones, not so much. But if your decision and choice is simply to have a decision and choice, does that make your decision and choice irrelevant? Is the question. But um, I guess that seems more like a teenager's problem, right? Struggling to have a decision and choice in a world that doesn't want you to have a decision and choice or something like that. But I'm like, because decisions and choices are not independent, are distinct. Not only are they distinct, but they are characteristic of the person themselves. Even if you have two people that wish to reach the same destination, the choices and decisions they choose to make to get to them, as well as the motivations, make the difference. And there's the missing piece of the puzzle. Motivations, 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 motivations. The things that turn people to demons or angels, whatever your perspective is. When you think about the intricacy of decisions and choices alone, and then compound that with the purpose and the end goal, can you even really calculate motivation at that point? Because motivation, I guess, is if you were to bring it into a magnitude, make it a magnitude, it's really like the speed at which you get to what you want, which can lead to some radical changes. But most people don't like change. A good person does. But what type of changes occur are independent of how you go about them, or rather the motivation in which moves you to those choices, right? So motivation is as simplistic as speed. It probably explains why most people advocate having speed limits anyway, or going through the proper channels. Excuse. And which within itself can be frustrating because if your motivation leads you to get to things at a certain speed and people tell you to slow it down or really slow it down depending on your perspective, then that can definitely influence your decisions and choices to make more decisions and choices which may satisfy your motivation but may lead other people to make decisions and choices to inhibit your motivation and yada yada yada. So it then becomes that the decision and choice making process is more of a struggle between people's inherent purposes. Because people's motivations will speed them up, but ultimately, how you get there, if you get there, will it has to be determined by inherent value, a value that can't change no matter what. Either you want to get there, or you don't want to get there, and that's the value that most people probably don't recognize. I mean, I guess you can't argue at somebody going a mile per hour, right? If you was on a highway, somebody driving a mile per hour, you can't be like, this guy's an asshole because he's deciding to move at his own pace. But you know, if you're not moving at your own pace, then what's the point of moving it, right? Which points into another point. If a person is getting pissed about how fast you move yourself to a specific purpose, at what point does that clash lead to decisions and choices? Which is within itself a decision and choice. It's like I'm trying to make decisions and choices, and then you make decisions and choices. Now you fucking up my decisions and choices because I gotta recalculate to consider your decisions and choices now. You just fucked up my whole speed because now I may have to slow down or speed up to adjust. So it's really like in summing up everything that's being discussed, it really is like like a video game, like a racing game, basically. Everybody wants to reach the finish line, but how many laps is the difference? How fast you get there is the difference. How many breaks you take is the difference. How you adjust other drivers on your road is the difference. How many people you got in your pit crew is the difference. It's really like a racing game, man. I don't know. It's funny because you shouldn't think of life as a game. It's terrible to think. It's just a terrible analogy. Life is not a game. Life is life is what is life? A decision and a choice, right? To sum up, to carry everything and to carry everything to the same purpose. Life is the decision and choice that you made when you decided to leave your mother. And as a decision and choice that you put into the world, that is your burden. And how you deal with this burden is up to you. But then again, even looking at a decision and choice as a burden within itself is decision and choice. So the process biases itself and then self is to irrelevancy. So what is an objective means of looking at a decision and a choice? If we know that the decision and choice game is a racing game, and we know that one person winning it doesn't reflect how you win it, or it doesn't, it probably does, but I guess at when realistically though, when it's a person winning, wanna cut off all your opportunities. I guess with a female, right? But then again, that old saying is, there's more fish in the sea. So if someone caught a particular fish, then you can't be like, dang, I wanted that fish. But you can still catch fish. You just got to get back in the game. So it's like an objective way of finalizing this decision choice process is deciding that you made a decision and that this decision will lead to more decisions. That is your job, to make more and more decisions regardless of other people's decisions or how your decisions affect you, because ultimately you have to recognize that the inherent value in you is whether you want to want something or you don't want to want something. And once you realize this, it's up to you to decide how you make peace with this. And by making peace with wanting something or not wanting something, you ultimately finalize your decision. As ironic as that can sound in life, the idea that a person can make decisions in all decisions, but it does characterize, how things are supposed to go. And if this is not enough for people, then I don't know. Because my decision and choice system has already been completed, so me making a decision and choice to unfinalize my decision and choice is going to put my not synchronization, my completeness in danger. And completeness is probably the goal. Well, not the goal, but probably the form of a decision and choice. The idea that you've entered into a process that will ultimately be whole. Not stopped, not done, but just whole. And that's enough for today.